I took Cara to market this week.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Soul Blazers podcast. Co-hosts Amanda Ware, our Christmas queen and founder of Hello Holidays, and Dr. Cara Osborne, our multi-venture guru, are ready to sit down and share their stories, insights, and wisdom to inspire aspiring trailblazers like you who are gearing up to start your own business, seeking personal growth, or looking for that spark to set your soul ablaze.
I took Cara to market this week. World Market in Dallas, one-night trip.
First outing as Hello Holidays business partners. Amanda kept introducing me to everyone as her business partner, which made me giggle. I don't know why, but it did. I mean, not that it's not true. It just kind of makes me laugh.
Oh, I love saying business partner. I love it. I've been wanting a business partner for so long.
Yeah, so for those of us who have started things on our own through the years, or for people who are out there thinking about the difference between being a solopreneur versus having a co-founder or partner, there is something really comforting when you've been doing it on your own to have somebody else involved, even if it's minimally, just to not be the only one who's like in it and to share the responsibility. And for me, it's always been like, I just want to know that if I get hit by a bus, somebody else will know enough to like keep this from all falling apart.
That's so sweet. That's like because you care more about the business. I care about myself. I'm excited you're going to help me do the hard stuff. That's why I need a business partner. I need someone to help me do the hard stuff and ask the tough questions and remind me that it's not going to last very long. Like we only have to do certain things once and I'm going to survive it and I'm capable. That's why I like having a business partner.
Well, I'm thrilled that that's what you need because that's easy enough to do. And I think, so for those of us who have not been in retail, market is fascinating. So market is all of the wholesalers who have sourced products from wherever, from factories all over the world, from even other consolidators who have various brands. And really what they're doing is pulling it together in a showroom and selling it to the retailer. So if you have a retail shop of some sort, you go to market to pick out the things that are going to be in your store, whether that's e-com or, brick and mortar. So for the uninitiated, it can be quite overwhelming. It's huge. And so many of the vendors have similar, if not exactly the same products. So then the decision is like, okay, we want the purple jewel ornament. And then you have to decide which of the vendors who sell the purple jewel ornament are you going to buy from. So what's that process like for you? Like if everybody's got it, how do you choose where you actually procure it?
I feel like I've done it differently every year, and I don't know if I'm doing it right. Buffy, my right-hand man, goes with me, and she's really good at like knowing exactly what I want and helping me price check with those certain items that everybody has. It's frustrating to me. It's frustrating to go to market and in every showroom have a lot of the same stuff. That's not how it's supposed to be. We should be able to not be able to get the same item in every store. And that's why I'm real excited about Hello Holidays, creating our own eventually, right? But so it usually is, sometimes it's who I have the best relationship with.
Yeah, so one of the first things that was an obvious difference between us as business partners. So Amanda and I think of ourselves as being pretty much the same. And the truth is we're really different in a lot of ways. So yes, we have a lot of similarities in some aspects, but we also are just wildly different. And one of them is that Amanda is a stranger talker.
I am a stranger talker. I read an article that says talking to strangers is good for your health. And so I feel like I can back up my stranger talking characteristic to science. It's good for you. Everybody should be a stranger talker.
And I do not talk to strangers. I don't even talk to people I know.
It's true.
I
It's true.
But I do think it's an important thing for those of you who are thinking about starting businesses that you do have to consider what the difference between personal relationships and professional relationships should be for you. So, in the case of market, all these vendors, Amanda knows a lot about their personal lives and is friends with them, and it's not that I think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing, and I do think any business relationship, it's why I teach Enneagram in the entrepreneurship classes, is because ultimately business is just relationships, and everyone should understand that and should be willing to put in the work to make strong relationships where there's trust and it's reciprocal, there's give and take on both sides. That's all important. One has to consider, like, I have all these people that are going to have to be contacts and relationships in order to make my business work. What is the level of engagement that works for me and works for them versus, like, what do I do because that's just who I am. I think people who are extroverts, it's easier because you actually get energy out of that interaction. For those of us who aren't extroverts, who are introverts, every interaction, it might be a ton of fun and really pleasant, but it's exhausting. It's taking energy away.
It's worked for me until about now. Like those relationships, you got to know, I went into market, my survival technique has always been people, because my competence level in my opinion has not been my best. I wouldn't put it on my resume, if you will, okay? But the way, so I needed relationships to soften that blow of feeling like I was out of control or couldn't do some of the hard stuff. Now, and it's worked for me. I actually enjoyed having those. Now is when I'm like, oh, why did I make friends with all these people? Because they're about to lose business, right? Is that why I'm like nervous about this? Like, should have not been so close to them, because now I'm about to pull a little bit of business from them because I'm kind of going on my own. And I'm like, oh, that's going to hurt their feelings because they were so nice to me and they were so good to me. And you're like, it's business.
Well, and I also think that is still coming from this like scarcity mentality of it's either or instead of both and. So you can continue to be a good customer, and if you're coming at business from the right angle, if your customer is able to grow and elevate and they don't need to be, no customer owes you their business. And if what they have is no longer what you need, from the vendor's perspective, the most sort of balanced way to look at that would be, hey, this person's been a great customer all this time. Someone new will absorb that spot of the new entry, not ready to go out on their own. It's not finite. It's limitless. There are always people coming. There are always people going. Those things are fluid and flexible. I just think it's really important to not take things personally. Like, one of my favorite books is The 4 Agreements, right? And one of the 4 agreements is don't take things personally. It is, even though it's friendly and you enjoy each other's company, a vendor-customer relationship is a transaction, and it's transactional. And I think particularly as women in business, we can get into this place of we want the relationship to be good, so we're not always willing to push for what's best for our business because we just want to be friends, right? So we want, in that people-pleasing way, we want the vendor to like us. So we're like, oh yeah, well, we'll just go ahead. They're pushing like the higher order count. It's like, oh, it's a better deal. Well, even if it's a better deal, if I don't need 12 of those things, I shouldn't buy 12 of those things, right? It's like buy one, get one free. Okay, well, but I don't need to, right? And if everything is about like, well, let's just all be friends, sometimes I think we're afraid to say, here are my boundaries. Here's what I need for my business. I understand that you have needs for your business. Let's find middle ground. Should be how that works. But sometimes the power dynamic gets skewed.
Agreed. And I'm in that. So we're going into our 6th season. Cara's come in right before the 6th season, and this is a reorg year for Hello Holidays, and that we are changing things, and I'm changing how I do business, and that is one of the things I'm going to do better. Is I'm going to be more professional, and I think the vendors will appreciate that when they realize that I am doing it for my business. I think that respect will come, which was not something I was really needing or wanting before.
Yeah, and I just think it's about like, as the business grows, there are more and more relationships, and you know, you can't go deep and wide, right? You can go really deep with a handful of people and know about their puppies and like their boat that sank and whatever. But if you have relationships with 100 people, it is impossible to maintain that level of depth across that many people. And so you just have to get to a place of like, as things get busier, you have to be more self-preserving because there's not enough of you to go around, really and truly. Same thing when your team grows. You know, those of us who lean toward the one-to-one relationship instinct, it can get hard because the way that you're used to doing things doesn't work when you have 20 direct reports. And there are kind of two options. You create an organization that plays to your strength, and you have a Buffy or a COO that is your only real contact, and then that person manages one to many. Or you have to know that about yourself and change your management style to be more self-preserving so that you can have interactions with a greater number of people. The way I've generally solved for that for myself is creating process and creating structure so that the interaction is more structured and less freeform.
Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to practice that more. Man, it's really nice having Buffy to be my buffer. Like she is the buffer for me.
I think that's great, and that's a great way to do it. And your way of doing it is not wrong. I mean, I think it's important to say that it's not about like this is right and this is wrong. It's differences in approach that just all of them have pros and cons, right? So how do you make intentional, conscious choices about how you want to do it?
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Soul Blazers podcast. Cara and Amanda, your soul blazing big sisters, are just laying the foundation for all of the amazing things to come. If you want to stay up to date on new episodes, be notified of any discounts, or get a glimpse of what we are working on behind the scenes, go to soulblazers.com and subscribe to our newsletter. Until next time, Soul Blazers!